go like right as I'm taking a big drink of water.
Sounds good.
All right, let's get my stuff here. You can hear me? Yay. Hello, people who may or may not be watching this stream back later. Oh, Nico is here. Hello, Nico. The first person who's not Adam in the chat. All right, I'm just gonna start drawing because I have to do. Ooh, we're getting people already. I have to do 10 of these, so I'm just gonna start the first one while people come in and share ideas and stuff. And Adam will do his thing. He's over there. He's watching the chat.
How am I supposed to corral people today?
Well, we don't have a theme today, so basically I'm open to whatever unhinged suggestions people come up with.
So my unhinged suggestion is we make them booze themed.
Oh my goodness! Why?
And we should start with a Captain Jack Sparrow themed one in honor of our booze theme, and then we can start working through other potential booze themes. And I am currently drinking tonight it is quarter cut, so it is not top of the line. It's the cheap stuff, but some bourbon barrel aged Cabernet Sauvignon.
He just wanted to say that and sound fancy.
I am a fan of bourbon barrel. All right. We do have a non-Jack Sparrow offer, but also another question about what is the theme. You left us themeless tonight.
I have, because I couldn't think of one, and I didn't really know even that we were gonna stream tonight until earlier today. So.
KJ is toasting with their cheap Merlot. So.
Excellent.
We do have a second suggestion after my Jack Sparrow, which is a forest octopus from Nico.
What is a forest octopus? What's the vibe of a forest octopus?
Foresty. It's an octopus, but it's a forest.
Is it an octopus that lives in a forest, or is it an octopus that is a forest, made up of a forest?
Interesting. Firelight is suggesting angry lemons.
Lemmings, I think.
Lemons, lemmings. What's the difference, really?
Significant. As one of them is a small animal, and one of them is a fruit.
Nico will be having some spotted cow later.
I have water from Quick Trip.
Have water. It is not from Quick Trip.
Not anymore. The bottle is from Quick Trip. I'm reusing the bottle. I meant having water from the region of Tap in the south of our house.
Region of Taipei.
Taipei. There's nothing. It's just TAP though. Where's the A coming from?
Put the E on it to make it fancy.
Then it's the region of tape.
That's a mispronunciation.
Oh, okay. A misspelling or something.
I don't. Firelight asks what they are drawing first, and I do not know. Hopefully, it is a Jack Sparrow.
No, it's not. And why Jack Sparrow and not Jack Daniels?
Because Jack Daniels is old and cliche. If this was a boomer stream, we'd start with Jack Daniels.
I don't know. Jack Sparrow's pretty old and cliche at this point.
True,
because we are
not
also
boomer
old.
Level old.
Not quite boomer level yet, but millennial, and that makes it old because we are all olds around here.
No, Zaire, we do not have a theme. They've left us themeless. I've been trying to make it booze themed, but it is they are fighting against it so far.
Yeah, because I don't drink.
So you can still create things around it.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like it has to have some kind of meaning to me, at least a little.
Firelight's on my side. Jack Sparrow is definitely millennial generation.
Well, yeah, he is. I never said he wasn't.
lemonade theme. Firelight is liking the lemming.
Okay, so like lemmings making lemonade, a little lemonade stand.
So I'm going back to an earlier chat mention from Firelight, who was caught unawares. They were not prepared for the stream as they were busy reading Adventurer Mage, and I too was reading Adventurer Mage.
Yeah.
I have the pre-release copy of Adventurer Mage 3 that I'm
He does, and he's working his way through it. And he was reading it like in my vicinity too, which like for an author is like extra points. If we see you reading our book, like near us, we're just like. All right, so I just felt like drawing a Pikachu because I was upstairs changing for this stream, and I saw my Pikachu stuffed animal, so I drew a Pikachu. He has an apple. It's not very original. I just felt like drawing a Pikachu. That's the beginning and end of that entire thing. All right, now I need to look up what lemmings look like.
Well, or you could do the forest octopus.
I'm less inspired by the forest octopus, but that's still a possibility.
Extra hints about it. It's like a world turtle, but like a forest grown on.
Oh, good. That sounds like a lot, and I have 10 of these to get through tonight. So.
It could be a really big one, and it just says like you can only see a couple trees on its head, like a hat in the distance.
So it's like really close.
Really, really big.
All right, the lemmings with a lemonade stand is going to be complicated enough. Everybody suggests things that are easy to draw.
So Zaire initially heard goose, not booze, and so they are suggesting a goose in an ushanka.
What is that?
Yes, what is an ushanka?
Please explain. By the way, I don't even have the stream on my screen right now. I only have lemmings, so Adam is in charge of you all.
If you're doing the lemmings, Firelight suggests actually doing lemons with paws.
Nope, too late. I'm already drawing the lemonade stand.
Firelight is at the part of an adventurer mage with zombies, and now it's updated to a zombie lemming as an option.
You all know I had to have zombies in my book because, as I have mentioned many times, Adventurer Mage is the most me book that there is, and there cannot be a book that is like made for me without some zombies in it.
Oh, KJ. KJ runs the other way when they see people reading their book.
I mean, I don't do anything about it, but inside I'm like dancing excitedly.
Ooh, you could do a Ferengi at a lemonade stand, or at a booze stand, or a Ferengi lemming at a produce stand of some sort. The Ferengi is Nico's suggestion. Everything else that ran with that is mine.
I don't know if I can draw a Ferengi. They're actually kind of like, I'm bad at drawing people to begin with, and then if you add in a bunch of wrinkles and weird head situations going on, I don't know how I'd do. I'm still working on the lemonade stand. Just the stand. I haven't drawn any lemmings yet.
And an ushanka is a hat.
Okay.
Apparently, I have one.
Okay. You should look it up, Adam.
I will, but I have to do an obligatory 4.
Hang on. Let me get back so you can see the.
I can kind of see.
There we
my
go.
own screen.
All right, there.
I'm just
now I'm back.
Lagging behind. So I showed off my bottle before, but I'm showing off my fancy schnazzy glasses I poured.
Wait, I was going to show it to them more closely.
Oh, very.
Whoop! I don't want to spill it.
It isn't full.
Okay, this. Look at it.
I haven't poured.
It's just pewter.
We have a matching set because we're
romantic and obnoxious like that.
She gets sparkling juice in hers.
Mm-hmm. I do not drink alcoholic beverages because they're gross.
All right, now it's time for me to either. I'll look up. Oh, I will not spill my glass.
Don't spill, Adam.
I'll look up an ushanka hat and then catch up on the chat.
Fortunately, lemmings are actually just very orb-shaped, so I think they should be pretty easy for me to draw.
Oh, I wonder if it's the one. Oh, it's this one.
What one? Oh, with the ear flap. It's an ear flappy hat.
Yeah, an ear flappy hat.
I didn't know those had a name.
Apparently they do. Cool. I just discovered. Oh, that's less cool. I can zoom in on the chat, but it doesn't, like, it zooms weirdly. So, like, I zoom in on where the mouse is, and then I can't see the other stuff. For a moment, I thought you were cool and good, YouTube.
Oh, YouTube is never cool and good.
All right, catching up on chat. Firelight mentions, yes, I saw the zombies. Like, yep, this is definitely a chewing book after all. And KJ flees from their book readers because they just get filled with dread.
Maybe I'm just too self-confident, which is weird to think of from me. I mean, I won't be like, hey, so you reading my book, I see. How'd you like to tell me about it? Unless it's Adam. But I will be like, they're reading my book, yay! I get very high-pitched.
Julian does, in fact, squeak, but only in very exceptional occasions.
Yes, usually around cute animals.
So KJ requests that you pass them some of that self-confidence. What I recommend, KJ, is you take a trick from Actor Circle and you invent a character for yourself who is the author, who is confident, and you just put on that personality, that character, and go about approaching readers.
See, I wish I could do that, like, on demand, like, easily. Like, when I worked retail, I had a persona, but I didn't consciously invent her. She just happened. Her name was Betty, and she just loved answering phones and greeting customers. But, like, I didn't consciously go, I need to invent a character for this. She just, like, happened. I was like, when I'm at work, I'm Betty. In my head, obviously. Nobody called me Betty. And Betty, when you call me, you can call me Al.
So KJ clarifies a little bit. It's maybe not quite so much the confidence, but for them, seeing anyone reading my stuff is weirdly embarrassing. Most of the stuff I write doesn't match what most people know of me, so I'm always worried someone I know will be like, "You wrote this?"
Now I'm curious, like, what kind of thing do you write that doesn't match your personality? Like, are you ace but you write smut? Like, what's the dichotomy? I need to know.
So KJ, you should. We're prying into our audience's personal life, but you should share what the dichotomy is. As we wait for that, I will catch up with some comments from Zahir, who's currently watching a local pickup team play hockey, and there's a little girl in the bleachers with a bear cape hoodie, and it's so cute, and they want an adult size, but it has also led them to a suggestion of maybe like a baby fox or something wearing a bear hoodie cape.
Aw, that's adorable.
And you should draw it.
Like a bear, like a grizzly bear, or a bear like relating to the hockey team that I do.
So a baby fox.
Yes.
And they are wearing a hoodie cape that is a stylized bear hoodie cape. So
okay.
Fox wearing like a bear.
So not like a hoodie jersey kind of situation pertaining to the hockey team.
To my understanding, that is correct.
You got time to correct me. I'm almost done with the Lemmings, though. I just keep adding more Lemmings because they're just shaped like little beans, and that's really easy to draw.
Firelight mentions on the customer service comment that they often imagine opening up the customer.service.exe while at work.
Run customer service.
Yeah. I also mentioned that Firelight mentions that people are surprised that they only have horror out right now.
Interesting. I don't know enough about your like personality otherwise to know if that's like surprising. Are you like, do your friends know you as a big romantic, or are you a fan of like bright, happy, cheery things? Like, is your room full of pink, but you write horror stories?
So from that, as we have a question up for Firelight, we'll hop over to KJ's answer, which you called part of it. They are indeed ace, and they do write some smut. But mostly, they're a very positive person with others. But half of the stuff they write is very dark and can be pretty disturbing.
I hear that a lot. I hear a lot of people being like, I'm really bright and sunny, but I write really dark stuff. And I'm kind of the opposite. I am sarcastic and difficult in real life, but I like to write stories about, like, my fantasy world is a world where people understand each other and get along. Because the real world is confusing and nobody understands each other.
No grand misunderstanding tropes.
Yeah, like people in my world, people talk and they're like are reasonable, which sometimes is a problem because a critique that I receive sometimes is that my characters are too reasonable. All right, I finished the Lemonade stand, and I did get a booze reference in there. If anybody can read it, I don't know I think the image is reversed, so that's gonna be tough. But this little guy, he has a sign that says "Add vodka, 50 cents." All right, what am I drawing next? More Lemmings because they're easy. No. We wanted the baby fox. That one sounded cute.
Baby fox with a cape, and if I go back, I have clarification. Imagine like a cape, but with the hood part has little bare ears, eyes, and mouth.
Okay. Now nobody feel too bad if I don't like take your suggestion. I kind of have to like, it has to click with me. It has to be like, yeah, I really want to draw that. Otherwise it's gonna look like crap.
Don't worry, she shot down hundreds of mine.
Oh yes, I shoot down all. He helps me brainstorm my books as well, and like he wants to start compiling all of the ideas that he's had that I have shot down. As we were brainstorming a book, my next book probably the other night, and he was like, keep shooting down all these ideas, and I'm like, yeah, but I take a bunch of your suggestions too.
You should do. I heard this reference recently, though I've heard it elsewhere on Adam Ruins Everything on like this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And you should instead. Oh no, it wasn't Adam Ruins Everything. It was the game theorist guy who was recently on a PGA golf tour by accident.
Oh, okay.
You should, instead of saying no to my ideas, you should say yes and see how you can make it work and where it leads you. It could lead.
I do very often. I do very often. Yes, and your ideas.
All right, so catching up with chat, Firelight mentions we have a whole bunch of postcards. I could bring back past suggestions. Golem as a hairless cat, and Jack Torrance as a narwhal as an easier one to start.
As a narwhal? How do I get Jack Torrance vibes into a narwhal?
By what is stabbed on his horn? Or
like, is he like stabbing through a door, like, but with instead of an axe is his horn? I don't know if I can pull that off.
Going back to a previous conversation, Firelight answered, they wouldn't say I'm especially bubbly. I think it's just my coworkers going, lady author, gotta write lady author thing.
Why aren't you writing romance? Because that's all Whammons can write. I love it whenever I mention like that women write sci-fi and it's really difficult to get published as a woman writing sci-fi, and then some guy will inevitably show up in the comments and be like, well, maybe women just don't write sci-fi because they're like bad at it and they're not interested in it, and that's why. It's like, technically you have not gone against any of the guidelines of my channel, but I'm not going to interact with your comment because it's stupid.
You should poke the trolls. It drives engagement.
No, I mean, I will sometimes, but that kind of thing, I'm like, I have had that exact conversation with so many people that I don't want to have it anymore.
I wonder if I could devise a kind of chatbot engagement.
You
using
should.
ChatGPT to
You
poke
should.
the trolls
And
for
make
you.
the chat bot like deal with them for me.
The Lemmings got an outstanding ovation from many of the members of the chat. So
Yay!
Let's start. KJ mentions they are fortunate that most people in their life don't bother to read your stuff. Oh, that's not fortunate, KJ. Anyways, continuing with your comments, and after a few people have shown interest in their stuff after talking to them, I tend not to tell people I'm an author anymore. Oh, well, that sounds like some intriguing stories.
Oh goodness.
That
I won't
after
shut up
people
about it.
Discovered you were an author and what you were the author what you wrote. You had your experiences with them led you to not tell people you're an author anymore. So now I'm curious.
Like,
Although I can this might not be as dramatic and over the top as I'm imagining. I know what Julian has encountered, and they still tell people.
I
I'm
won't
imagining
fucking
it's
shut up
worse.
about it. I won't fucking shut up. I'm just like, I'm an author. Fucking read my book, yeeting my book at people. Because, like, I don't care if you love it or you hate it or whatever. I, like, just fucking read it. That's all I want.
Oh, KJ disagrees with me that I shouldn't feed the trolls. I don't want to feed them. I just want to poke them. But
I also don't want to make my comment section an unpleasant place for the people who come to leave helpful, nice comments.
Give the chatbot appropriate parameters to ensure the conversation remains pleasant.
Okay.
KJ adds a little bit more clarification to it. That is why they have two pen names, one for more palatable stories and one for the other dog stuff.
That's the thing that drives me crazy. I write like really marketable shit. Like, I don't. So many people I know are like, I can't sell my books traditionally because they're too weird or they're too dark or whatever. And like, my stuff is super marketable and still have a heck of a time selling it. So it's like, you can't win. Aside from the lack of romance, that's the only thing that makes my books weird. Although that is enough for most people. They'll be like, oh, no romance? Well, not even going to give it a chance then.
KJ mentions all those non-romance authors out here begging for scraps.
Yeah, I try not to be jealous of romance authors who just like, I've heard of people just turning out smutty romance novellas one after another that they don't barely put any editing into, and just like bam, 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 and making, I don't know if I'd say a living, because even then it's difficult to make a living writing, but enough like that it's significant. And it's like, why can't I be any good at that sort of thing? But I'm not.
You know what? I wonder if you just if you give them the parameters about what the characters are, and then maybe polish it up afterwards. Maybe you could write a novella and then have ChatGPT write the sex scenes for you, and then you just edit and massage the sex scenes.
I will say that in the book that Adam and I are reading for our book club, there's a couple sex scenes, I think, at least one, and I actually didn't hate it. Like, I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I love the heck out of this scene, but with all of the shitty sex scenes I've read recently, I'm like, this is actually an okay sex scene. I like this.
All right, I'm going to go into prompting the chat to send us stuff. One is from Firelight, who is like, hey, there was a fantasy, self-publishing fantasy competition, and if you don't have the information on it, they could send you the details. It is closed for this year, but there's always next year. And I'm like, yes, Firelight, please send it to us, and if we know about it already, we're just like, oh yeah, we recognize it. But yes, send us the info. KJ, this is a solicitation from us.
Whoa! Don't solicit my viewers, Adam.
You should
Pump the brakes.
You should ping Julian and send them your pen names, both of them, so we can look up your books and read. And we'll promise not to bring up the deets on the stream unless you give us your permission prior to.
Now, just to be clear, I am not guaranteeing that I will have time to read any extracurricular. I can't say that word, and I haven't even been drinking.
You should hurry up and have more water, dear. That might be the issue.
Trying to draw. This fox does not want to cooperate. His little feet. I can't figure out how he wants to have his little feet, and it's annoying the heck out. His face, adorable. The bear head, adorable. The fox's little feet will not cooperate.
KJ mentions back up, continuing from the romance novella, that they kind of feel that they're all the same plot or same story, just with a different cast, and they get bored. And
that is true, and I think that's why so many people like them.
And I guess I could understand that, because it's kind of like me rereading Wheel of Time, but instead of it being the same book, it's totally different book. No, honest.
It's like the characters have different names, and they have different hair colors this time. And instead of being a firefighter this time, he's a policeman.
All right, so KJ says it's very nice of them, and Julian does admit that, or caveat that they can't guarantee they would read them, and I'll admit it will probably be a while before I get to them. I'm working through 3 books at the moment.
I'm behind on my reading.
But I am intrigued, and I want to compare and contrast your nice books to your dark books.
I'm going to have to give up on this fox's little feet and just call it good.
Give them long pants or boots.
No, he's like a foxy fox. He's 4 legs fox.
Ah. All right. So KJ says their nice books are under the KJ Amadon head name. So we can find them easily from this. And they even, much excites, are working on getting their audiobooks done now. 4 out of 6 of their audiobooks are ready and available, so that would make it easier for you, Julian.
It would. I want to do an audiobook for Boots myself, but I don't know when I'm going to have time for that. Especially since I need to pick up a part-time job as well.
So, I have a brilliant idea, but you will hate me, and for us to be successful at it, you will have to put down stringent rules for me to follow, and then I will do my best to follow them.
I'm afraid already.
But we could do an audiobook for Adventure Mage where I read Valentine and you read May.
You cannot do a Welsh accent, Adam.
I mean,
you could barely. You had this much handle on that British accent you had to learn for that play. It was tenuous. If you squinted and turned your head sideways, it was a British accent. All right. I'm done with this fox. I need to stop messing with it and move on. But here he is. He's a little baby, and he's got a bear.
All right, how many do you have done?
3.
How many do you need to do?
10 total.
So 7 more to go.
Yeah. All right. Now what?
Maybe something lemony because it's easy. But
More lemmings. More lemmings. They're easy. They look like little beans.
The narwhal with the dude, his horn is an axe. Axe.
I could do a narwhal with an axe horn, but I think that's as far as it would be as far as like looking like Jack Torrance. It's just a random narwhal. Okay, I think Hamlet as a lemming. I just saw it and I have to do it now.
Hamlet as a lemming. Ooh, KJ is revealing their darker side to everyone in the chat.
Ooh.
Their other books are under Kira Anderson, and all but the 5 of darkest books have their audiobooks read by them.
Dun dun dun.
And it's catching up on the chat. Violet mentioned the awards or the fantasy awards or comp that they were talking about is self-published fantasy blog off. They accept the first few hundred submissions and then a whole bunch of blogs read and rate.
I think I do recall hearing about this, but I did not get in on it for some reason. Can't remember if it was like, do they have a rule about this? It has to be your first self-published book or something. I don't remember.
Well, worth us following up on after this chat and putting it on our calendar. Violet mentions they also more recently started one for adult sci-fi too, if we ever get the game to a published book.
Ooh. Yeah, the game is still just sitting there doing fuck all, and it's completely edited and everything. I could if I wanted to, it would be so easy for me to take the game and format it and publish it, but I just haven't because, I don't know. I have to market it then. Nobody even knows what it is.
Firelight mentioned that if I wanted to read their books, that would be fine too. You have to drop your pen name in the chat or to me directly though, or so that I can find your stuff and look them up and put them in my queue. Firelight is encouraging the narwhal Jack Torrance and the hairless cat Golem.
Really?
Maybe hairless cat Golem riding the narwhal Jack Torrance, holding on to his axe handle of a horn.
No.
Kind of like a crossing of the Chesapeake kind of image. KJ, who literally just glanced at their bookshelf and saw Hamlet, so I think that's where they.
I enjoy Hamlet. It is not my favorite Shakespeare play, but it is one of my favorite Shakespeare plays.
Which one would you like better?
If you think about it, you probably figure it out. It's actually one of
Midsummer.
Yes, Midsummer Night's Dream is my favorite Shakespeare play.
Just because you got to play Titania does not mean that it's his best work.
I never said it was his best work. I said it was my favorite play. It doesn't mean it was his best.
All right.
It's fucking hilarious, though. I love it.
KJ mentions that they are working on the last 5 audiobooks now. Wait, last 5 audio. Do you mean the 5th of those 6 audiobooks, or do you mean you have 5 more audiobooks you're working on? But it's the darkest story I've ever written, and I have to take it slow because I can't be in that headspace for too long. Yeah, I can understand that. Last of the 5. I think they mean the last of the 5. Yeah. Oh, goodness. KJ is also offering to send free audiobook codes. They have promo codes I have much to give away because I do no promotion whatsoever. Yeah, promotion sucks. It's the hardest part of being an author. It has nothing directly to do with your authorship skills.
Yeah, it's a completely different set of skills. All right, here's Hamlet Lemming.
So it's just like kind of has a WTF look on his face.
It's just dead-eyed stare that the lemmings have. I'm enjoying drawing cute little round creatures tonight. So like cute little round creatures.
Maybe one of our froggies from the pond.
And the frog. I already did a frog
Not
stream.
tonight.
No. They also aren't cute and round.
Kind of cute.
They're cute, but they're not
And
round.
large round eyeballs.
I could
they
do like
kinda
some
sit in
tadpoles or
rounded
something.
shapes.
Let me just draw some tadpoles. Why not?
Right. Firelight claims that Julian knows who they are, and they read right under the actual name. Do you know Firelight's name? If I come back to you later and be like, "Quick, Julian, I need to find Firelight's books."
I
You're gonna
think
be able to
I
help me.
think so.
All right, Firelight. When I come back on the stream and praise your book, and you have no idea what I'm talking about, blame Julian because she misremembered your name.
Pretty sure.
Oh. Several people enjoy Hamlet and say it's a great play or is their favorite play, but Firelight will forever severely dislike Midsummer Night.
What did Midsummer do to you?
It's not the worst. The worst I've read is A Winter's Tale, but I too am curious. Firelight, what did Midsummer do to you? Did you have to play bottom?
No, because that's awesome. Did you have to play one of the lovers? They're boring. Like, I've seen people do the best they can with the human lovers characters, but there's no way to save those motherfuckers. They're just there so that the plot can happen around them. Like, fairies are doing shit, mechanicals are doing shit, and also the lovers are here.
Oh, goodness. KJ, you vomit out books worse than Julian, apparently. They actually have 17 more audiobooks to record and edit, but the 5 Kira Anderson books that don't have audiobooks is what they are working on right now.
Yeah, I don't write that fast. I wish I wrote that fast. Actually, what it is I don't edit that fast. I'm very slow at editing my books.
I apologize, chat, that I am so behind. Firelight has Alas, Poor Lemming.
Yeah, because look, I wrote it on the...
Oh, I didn't catch that. Ooh, how about a lemming with a Hannibal Lecter mask?
Why Hannibal Lecter mask?
We're going off the horror movie thing, because we're getting horror vibes from KJ tonight. And dog books.
What's everybody's favorite horror movie? Also, I still need to know what Midsummer Night's Dream ever did to you. Adam, get on it.
All right. I think they did finally put in the chat. Midsummer was my first Shakespeare I ever had to read for school. I'd like to know one of the characters, and the happy ending for Demetrius gave me rage.
So that's the thing. School will ruin Shakespeare plays because they're plays. They're meant to be seen, not read. They're not novels. You're not supposed to read them unless you're preparing to perform them. So, like, if you can be in Midsummer or if you can go see Midsummer, I love it. It's unhinged. It's hilarious. It is the most fun you'll have at a theater. But, like, reading it doesn't, it's not.
Yeah.
I'm mad that they make kids read Shakespeare, honestly. Like, some schools will do a thing where they'll at least have them read it out loud and kind of perform it in the classroom. But even then, it's not good enough because what you need is to watch performers who know the language and understand what they're saying. Because if the performer understands it, then you will understand it.
So I need to warn the chat. We need to trigger Julian less so they write more. But yeah, reading plays versus seeing plays performed is one of their triggers that they've been talking with their hands for a few years.
I'm sorry, I'm a hand talker. I stop and I have to like make eye contact with the screen, and yeah, trying to just draw some polywags here.
All right, go for a couple more suggestions. Lemming combined with a dragon.
Lemming dragon, little round dragony boy.
Firelight will send a message to you later, Julian, to confirm you know who they are, so I don't start rattling to them about a book they didn't read.
It's always smarter to double back with me, because like I've already embarrassed myself several times with clients being like, hey, did you send me your book? And then I'll like look around a little bit more and be like, yes, you did. I'm just stupid. I'm sorry. I'm very unprofessional. All right, here are my polywags. That one's starting to get some little legs. Polywogs. Polywag is a Pokemon. Polywog is the... You're correct. We have frogs, so many frogs on our pond right now. Just unreasonable amount of frogs and baby frogs.
Indeed. I think there was like one shot we were standing and staring at the pond. I think I literally saw around 50 frogs staring back at me at one moment.
Just staring into your soul with their little froggy eyes. All right. I'm going to draw a dragon lemming. Cause
KJ does, not quite apologize, but basically they have no life, so that's why they're vomiting out so many books.
I'm jealous. Why do things keep like happening in my life? Like all of my weekends are spoken for this month, and it's all just like things for other people.
Sorry.
Yeah, mostly him.
Too hard.
But like none of it is stuff that I was like, oh boy, I'm excited to do that. Next month there is one weekend where it is me. But
we also have another vote for Silence of the Lambs themed Lemmings in the future.
Silence of the Lambs was not one of my favorite movies.
And John Young has joined the chat and is asking, which book are you going to read next?
And I don't know if this is, which book are you reading next for yourself, and or which book are you reading next for your read-along?
Well, if it's the question is which read-along I'm doing next, you'll just have to find out because I don't know yet. Voting is still open. If you go over to my latest video on my channel, you can vote on which of the 4 books in that video we will be reading next for the read-along. Or if you become a patron, your vote counts for 2.
So, which book are you in the middle of reading for not your read-along?
I just finished In the Ravenous Dark, which was for the book club book. And everyone else hated it, and I actually kind of liked it. So we'll see how Adam feels, because he actually hasn't read it yet.
Candace C. is a fan of the Ginger Snaps horror movies. Candace, do you have a character from there that could be combined with a lemming or another anthropomorphized critter for us?
I have never seen any of the Ginger Snaps movies, so I would have to look at references. I have no idea what that is about. But yes, do share your favorite horror movies, chat. I do love horror movies. I just haven't watched that many of them.
Candace does also suggest a werewolf lemming.
So is it a person turning into a lemming? Or a lemming turning into a werewolf?
I think they meant a lemming turning into a werewolf, but I think a person turning into a lemming is more of a thing. John, I'm sorry, Chad, I'm getting behind, but I will catch up. Do we have any future novel ideas in your head? Well,
yeah.
But are we going to share the one? Has the one caught enough in your head to be worth
It's real close. Like, I still don't know. There needs to be some sort of secondary conflict or even primary conflict that goes along with the one that we've already talked about, and I don't know what that is yet. Like, there needs to be some overarching thing happening along with the minor thing that is happening to the characters.
I will ponder and throw some stuff at the wall.
There's got to be battles. There's got to be danger. Because I don't do really like political intrigue super well, so
there needs to be
an enemy to fight.
What is it when the blight. There needs to be a blight of some sort.
Or something.
I see.
Yes. But yes, it's probably going to be a fantasy. Again, different world than Adventurer Mage. New magic system, new gods. That's what Adam and I were inventing the other night.
So Firelight hated reading Winter's Tale so much. Their reward, their treat for reading it, was to then read through Measure for Measure, which was their first so bad it's good play. They're slowly working their way through Shakespeare.
You should go see some Shakespeare. I hope you have an opportunity to go see some Shakespeare. Even like if you can find small community theaters that are putting on Shakespeare, watch it be performed if you can. And of course movies as well, but obviously stage is what it was meant for.
New character suggestion for art: giant ferret fighting a Bigfoot.
A Bigfoot, huh?
KJ is also another sort of cryptic beyond Bigfoot. They are a single hermit that spends hours hunched in front of their computer on head.
I mean, that's what I do, except for
you're not single.
I'm not single.
I drag you away from your preferred hermit lifestyle.
Every now and then, yes. That's what happens when you marry an extrovert. That was my mistake.
John Young asks, are you into DC or Marvel, and why?
Okay, don't come for me. I don't read comics. I think it's my dyslexia. I have a really hard time reading comics. So I've tried, but I just can't get into it. But movies, Marvel, all the way. And just like the heroes in general, I like Marvel's heroes better than I like DC's heroes. Here, he's...
Hannibal, Firelight has an excellent idea. Hannibal Lecter as a sheep.
Because Silence of the Lambs. I get it.
That is where Firelight's idea came from. I haven't seen Silence of the Lambs. Oh my god, Hannibal Lecter as a sheep. And we are getting some seconds and thirds for Hannibal Lecter as a sheep.
I might have to draw it, even though I don't really have any interest in Hannibal Lecter.
Apparently, that author, meaning either Shakespeare or the person who wrote Hannibal Lecter, has another book out, and Firelight would like to read their newest soon.
Ooh. Didn't know that author was still writing.
Yeah, I thought Shakespeare had stopped a while ago. We got an upvote for Ginger Snap is good, so perhaps you should watch Ginger Snap and then do a character from that on your next stream.
What kind of horror is it?
Twilight Guardian, or one of the others who have seen Ginger Snap. What kind of horror is Ginger Snap? No, Candace, see, your message is retracted. What did you say? I'm so behind.
Oh no.
KJ mentions a word lemming again, so I think that means a person turning into a lemming, I think. Let's see.
All right, here is the dragon lemming. He is a little bit high up on the page, so I added some buildings. I just like how dead-eyed they are. It just brings me joy. Just like no thoughts, head empty. And that's the vibe for tonight.
All right, then.
4, 5, 6. I have 6. I'm over halfway there. All right, now I have to look up pictures of Hannibal Lecter so I can try to draw him as a sheep.
Well, as you do that, I can catch up a little bit with the chat. Firelight mentions they haven't watched a lot of horror movies. They tend to read horror, but they do love the Dr. Sleep, the movie, and Hush is also great.
I did think Dr. Sleep was okay. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, amazing, but I liked it all right. My favorite horror movies are the kind that are like psychological dread type of horror movies. I like to feel dread. Same with books. If a book can make me feel dread, I'm in a happy place. I don't want to, like, I do enjoy like slashers and stuff and gory stuff sometimes. But if a book can or fill me with dread, I'm
Stop talking with
happy.
your hands.
I'm sorry. I don't. I'm gonna turn this man into a sheep.
We're about to crush Firelight, I think,
Uh-oh.
as I mentioned battles in a Murder on the Orient Express thriller? Question mark.
I'm sorry. I'm just not as interested in that one. I should, but I also know that if I make myself write something I'm not the most excited about, it won't turn out good. Which sucks.
Just because Dragonfly didn't really have a conflict.
It's happened before. It's not just Dragonfly.
Oh wow, Firelight apparently collects versions of Hamlet to watch.
Oh. What's your favorite? I have seen many versions of Hamlet, like movies of Hamlet.
Going back to Shakespeare, Twilight mentions that they hear that Shakespeare is better spoken in its original early modern English because of the jokes and rhymes are maintained better. Interesting. I don't know if we've ever performed in the early modern English before. John Young, without us giving a lot of details about it, I think is picking up a little bit on the theme of what you might do with your next book. He's asking if your next novel is more Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones.
Neither?
Well,
if you're looking for a Game of Thrones alike, don't come to my books or Lord of the Rings because that is not my style.
Well, I would say, okay, so it's not a Tolkien-esque, as in like overly wordy. You're not going to spend 3 pages describing a tree, but I think it is like happy fantasy or dark fantasy, and I think it is more happy fantasy is what you're thinking about for this.
I mean, I tend towards happy fantasy. I hate the idea of like, as soon as you label your book something, people think that it's not something else. So like I've had people surprised that there's so much like action in Adventurer Mage because I label it a cozy fantasy, just because the tone is very cozy. And they're like, well, that means there can't be any action in it. And it's like, no.
Like Stardew Valley is a cozy farming simulator. There's mines you can go adventuring in and have action.
And there's like interpersonal dramas and like So like as soon as I label my fantasy as like happy fantasy, people think that there's no dark moments and no deaths and no, you know.
All right, I finally caught up. Firelight gets to correct me. No, Adam, they're referring to the author of The Ravenous Dark. I got it totally wrong. Neither of your guesses
were correct. But yeah, I am interested in more from that author for sure. We read The Ravenous Dark because it was the one that was like most widely available to all of the people who were in the book club. But they have one that has an ace character, and that's what I'm gonna be checking out next.
Sorry, KJ, I'm so far behind, I've lost it. Their comment is they're referring to one of our things we talked about before, it being a gore horror, which is not their fave.
Gorer.
Which might be Ginger Snap.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it is.
Ginger Snap is a coming-of-age horror about werewolves.
Interesting. I've heard of it. I just have not watched it.
Violet mentions I've lost track of the days at this point, have a Vampire Dark Academy coming out this year.
Oh yeah, that's the author of Ravenous Dark. I actually saw that while I was on Goodreads looking at her other books today actually, and I was like, oh hey, but I have to catch up with patron suggestions for my reading before I can go read what I want.
So, John Young is bringing up DC. Why not a fan of DC? He thought Aquaman was the best DC movie of all time.
And you know what? I might agree with you that Aquaman was the best DC movie, but that speaks volumes about the quality of the DC movies.
The first Wonder Woman movie for me. If I
First
have to
Wonder
pick
Woman.
a DC movie, that one. Yes, for sure. I don't know. I guess I'm just more drawn to the Marvel heroes. There seems like there's more of them that you get to see in movies for starters, and I like to see more characters, so I have more options of who to like. And they just have more personality. Every DC in the movies anyway just seems to be trying to be so broody all the time, and it's like you gotta have levels. You can't be broody all the time. Aren't we so dark? Aren't we so? It's like, yeah, you're trying too hard. And again, that's just the movies. I haven't read the comics. That's just based off of the movies.
Twilight Guardian mentions they are currently listening to Lord of the Rings on Audible on Return of the King. I've not listened to the audibles of those. Have you, Julian?
No.
I wonder. Do you like?
Wait, there's so many. There's so many versions.
So many versions. I wonder if they have a full cast version.
I'm sure they do. They probably have multiple full cast versions. All right, here he is. I hope you're happy.
Silence of the Lamb.
Whether he likes it or not, I'm grumpy about it. All right, I think that's 7. So many postcards. So many postcards.
All right. Firelight mentions some of their Hamlet collection. They've seen a Mel Gibson Hamlet, a David Tennant Hamlet, a Benedict Cumberbatch Hamlet.
I've seen both the David Tennant and the Benedict Cumberbatch.
I don't know if I have a favorite. One of my favorite parts is seeing how they deliver words.
Yeah, how they're going to make some of those famous speeches their own is always interesting. All right, what am I drawing next here?
Skipping to the current part of the chat for people to throw out suggestions. There is always the narwhal or the golem as a hairless cat.
Of the two, I think I'd be better at drawing the narwhal than the hairless cat.
Really?
Because, I rely on fur and the roundness that fur gives to do a lot of the work for me. I think the hairless cat is going to end up looking a little bit weird. Kenneth Branagh Hamlet. That one's good. I've seen that one. I have a collection in my YouTube. I have a collection of Hamlet deaths because I like to see how everybody does the death.
Come on, Chad. You need to give us suggestions of art.
All right, I'm gonna look up what narwhals look like. We're having a really active chat. I love how active everybody's being tonight. It's a small chat, but y'all are knocking it out of the park with conversation. Narwhals, swimming in the ocean, causing a commotion.
All right. Mouse Stormtrooper or Jedi. Hairless cat, round wrinkles. Well, you might have made a Firelight tonight. You might be making up for the fact that you're not writing Orient on the Murder Express by finally choosing her narwhal.
Basically, I just come on these streams and Firelight bullies me into
I appreciate your persistence, Firelight. Alright, and she's drawn something, so I'll go back to where I was in the chat. Candace C. I just bought Adventure Mage last week. I'm going to try to read it sometime this week. Yay! Awesome.
Yay,
Thanks,
Adventure
Candace.
Mage! I hope it brings you joy, or at the very least gives you some emotion, even if that emotion turns out to be rage.
Hey, interactions are interactions. So if it gives you rage, come back here and express your rage on every video that your lead makes.
Maybe don't go quite that far.
Every other
But
video.
you could leave it a review, and it's okay if that review is not like a glowing review.
Firelight mentions they own the Ace character one, Beyond the Black Door.
Yes, that is on my list for sure.
They pre-ordered it but haven't watched. Twilight Guardian mentions Stardew Valley was based on Story of Seasons, formerly known as Harvest Moon, but no one knows that.
I know.
Salty.
No. I know that. I have been, do not quote the old magic to me, which I was there when it was written. I am an OG Harvest Moon fan. Because I'm an old. I played them all. When they changed the Story of Seasons, I played those all. All of them. I own most of them. My collection's over there. Friend, you have come to the right place.
Twilight mentions that Rune Factory is the best in their opinion.
I like it okay. It's okay. It's not my favorite. Part of the problem is Rune Factory gives me migraines sometimes. Like the colors or something about it. I can't play it for long stretches of time.
John Young asked, why are you not interested in dark fantasy? Is it not your cup of tea
At all, and this is coming from my interpretation of this Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings question. So this might be a little mixed, like not so much that you're not into dark fantasy, you're just not into Game of Thrones.
Not that kind of dark fantasy.
Is there a dark fantasy that you've enjoyed?
I'm sure there is. I mean, I would call the Ravenous Dark a dark fantasy. I mean, most of the people at the end of that are undead. Like
Which book?
the one that for the book club. I think you'll like it.
Oh, right.
There's gore. The main character is undead at the end. I would call it a dark fantasy, and I liked it. This is probably going to get me in all kinds of trouble, but I tend not to like dark fantasy written by men because that usually translates to violence against women, the book. And like, you know what? I don't need that. I don't need it. I'm over it. I'm sure there are plenty of good dark fantasies written by men. I just haven't read them personally.
Firelight chimes in on the superhero conversation. They loved the first Shazam, haven't seen the second. Watchmen comic is dope, but movie not so much, which reminds them they wanted to suggest Dr. Manhattan as an animal, which you will have to tell us which animal, Firelight, otherwise it'll just be a tardigrade.
Hairless cat, because isn't he the one that's naked?
Yes,
balls
he is
out.
The one that's naked. Blue, hairless cat.
So I don't think I can send one of my patron balls on their postcard. I think I have to draw the line there.
You could put the postcard in an envelope.
Yeah, the male person who takes our mail probably already thinks that like I'm insane here.
Shows up far behind them. Chatty and Firelight is celebrating the killer sheep.
Yeah, Adam, catch up on the chat, jeez.
They do have okay. Twilight mentions Lord of the Rings does have a full cast version for the audiobook. But currently, they're listening to the Robert English version from way back in '92. We're told that's a good one.
Way back in '92.
Yay.
We are so old.
I mean, we were both alive back then.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Oh. KJ mentions Kenneth
Brana.
Hamlet is their favorite movie version.
That's a good Hamlet. The man can Shakespeare.
Here's a good suggestion. Dr. Manhattan as a glow bug.
All right, so here we go. Here's the narwhal with an axe. I gave him a big toothy smile, like, Jack Torrance channeling that a little bit, like crazy smile, but it's hard to do on a narwhal. All right, let's see how many have I done here. All right, I've done 8, so I need 2 more. 2 more. I don't think I can do Dr. Manhattan because, like, I can't send one of my patrons balls. I can't do it.
All right, so mouse, stormtrooper, or Jedi.
Jedi is easier because they just have robes and I don't have to figure out the armor.
Trying to
How about a Lemming Jedi? Since
Lemmings
Lemmings seem to be the theme.
Could do Dr. Manhattan as a glow bug. That was a good suggestion.
How do I get across that it's Dr. Manhattan if it's a bug?
Put a nuclear symbol on him and make his glow blue. And he's bald, so strip off the antennae. John mentions James Gunn, the director of Guardians of the Galaxy, is now taking over the DC studios. Are you looking forward to see a little movie called Superman Legacy, which James Gunn is directing?
I am definitely more interested in seeing a different version of Superman because I am of the belief that Superman should not be the dark, broody one because Batman already has that covered. So, like, we need to have some contrast. Because if you have Superman and Batman both being the dark, broody one, it's very exhausting to watch.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that much about the comics, but I do know that Superman is supposed to be the hopeful, Boy Scouty one. And we need that to contrast. Because, man.
I mean, basically, like, Henry Cavill basically plays the same character in Superman and The Witcher. Dark, broody, and his powers can let him beat up anyone. And it works in The Witcher because there are other characters with other personalities.
Got people to bounce off of.
Alright. Candace is, oh no, I'm worried now. Why would I be angry when I read Adventurer Mage? And I apologize, Candace. Jill and I were talking about the next book that they're thinking of writing that is currently just a sparkle, a twinkle in their eye.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about Adventurer Mage, which, like a month ago, the next twinkle in their eye was A Murder on the Orient Express. But then
Cyberpunk Murder on the Orient Express.
Today, the twinkle in our eye is something different.
Mm-hmm. And it's just more fantasy.
And I think you're done writing, but you are still, you have finished Adventurer Mage, so now you're just editing, so you're just writing short stuff until you get it kicked off on the next big book.
Basically, what I'm doing right now is putting out, which will be next Wednesday, will be the last chapter of Adventurer Mage 3 that goes live on my Wattpad. I'll leave it up there for a little while, but as soon as I'm done with that, I am going to then start editing Adventurer Mage 2 to get it ready for beta readers. And while I'm doing that, I also am probably going to start editing Second Floor, which is the novella over on Wattpad. But there's a good chance that will not be enough for me, and I will also start writing whatever the next thing is.
Because you hate editing.
I hate editing.
Two things isn't going to make you happier with editing.
No. But I do need to have that one final thing needs to click into place with the fantasy that I'm thinking about before I can actually start it.
KJ mentions they're currently reading a book for an editorial review right now, but as soon as I'm done with that, Adventurer Mage is next on their list.
Hell yeah.
We have a recommendation for your final card. How about a raccoon who is holding 2 swords?
Raccoon with 2 swords. I mean, pretty straightforward.
Right. Florentine raccoon. What are other names for raccoons?
I'm doing a Lemming Jedi right now, so I'm humming. Battle of the Fates, I think it's called. Watch YouTube slap me with a copyright claim.
Sigh. I was hoping there'd be a name for a raccoon that kind of rhymed with Florentine. The closest I can get is Florentine Prochinine.
Probably like Procanine or something like that.
Florentine Prochinine, or Florentine Yitzine. Alright, back to trying to catch up with the chat.
Yeah, come on, Adam.
Okay. Dr. Manhattan, hairless cat also works. He does wear a thong at one point. Alright, KJ does think you got across the psycho narwhal vibes, so good job. Ooh. So John Young has a question. If you had a romantic fan fiction, which Marvel superhero pairing would you write about? And I'm going to tangent real quick. Oh, I wish I knew what that was called. A good friend of mine wrote their answer to this, but then they had to file the serial numbers off to make it their own, and they actually published it or are working on publishing it. And they did Iron Man and Captain America. But
that's not terribly original.
But what would your pairing be?
I had one. Well, okay, so this is like really off the beaten path, but I definitely ship Loki with Owen Wilson's character from the TV show, from the Loki show. I do not ship him with Sylvie. I think it's weird and creepy. They're the same person. Presumably, maybe it's going to turn out that they're not actually. And I still have a theory that she's not a Loki, she's a Thor. It just didn't work out in her universe. Because, like, if you look at it, like, hints are there. Because she's, like, playing with when you look back at her past, she's, like, playing with the little, like, Valkyrie toys and everything. And it seems more like she's leaning towards being a Thor. But then I think some sort of weird thing happened and she thinks she's a Loki, but she's actually not. Anyway, but then that would be Loki with his brother, and technically, kind of. And that's still creepy, so no.
Adopted brother.
No, I don't like incest, even if it's adopted. Absolutely not. But I would love to see Loki and, why can't I remember his name, the character that Owen Wilson played together. But I have other ships. I just can't think of any of them right now, of course. But I 100% do not ship Captain America and Bucky.
Yeah.
I don't ship it at all.
They're not a good couple.
No. They're great friendship pairing. That's fine. I just do not, it's not romantically.
So.
All right, here's my Jedi Lemming. All right, last one, last drawing.
So let me see. We do have some suggest guidance around the Dr. Manhattan Firebug.
Oh my God, no!
Spread wide.
I think we need to forget about the Dr. Manhattan thing. I think that's probably not going to be a thing.
Let me see. Ranger. We do have the Florentine Raccoon.
Raccoon,
Ranger,
that's pretty easy.
Raccoon dual wheel, so kind of like layering on, giving with that raccoon a theme as Ranger Rick the raccoon.
I'd have to look up.
Do a Dalmatian like on your shirt.
I do. You guys, I found this at a thrift store the other day, and I'm so excited because this was like my favorite movie when I was a little kid. Before Lion King came out, I was 101 Dalmatians stan.
KJ appreciates your soundtrack for the Lemming Jedi. Best soundtrack ever.
Trying to butter me up, aren't you, KJ?
I don't even think they've got a nomination for the final postcard.
It's the final postcard. Tonight is the night of much soundtrack. Yeah, I'm giving the chat a chance to like percolate because it's the last one. If there's any like,
I started on Marvel and DC rants at the moment, though.
oh, I mean, why aren't you reading those to me?
Because I'm trying to focus on only those ideas, so you get drawing.
Oh, but then you'll read them to me, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I will catch up to the chat eventually.
Okay.
I have much to do here.
Okay. Adam is working hard over
It's
there.
a good thing you're not popular, because
He couldn't keep up. If we had more than like 10 people on the chat right now, he could not keep up.
Nope.
Especially if they were as talkative as you guys are tonight. Usually my chats are slower. So once again, you guys are killing it.
A caterpillar with a top hat in a hot air balloon.
Okay. That's an unusual one, I will say that. Why the top hat? Getting more Dalmatian, I see, is coming up in the chat. So it might have to be Dalmatian something. Dalmatian, dual-wielding Dalmatian. I mean, it works better than Florentine raccoon. It rolls off the tongue better. Dual-wielding Dalmatian.
Yeah. And yeah.
A lemming with Dalmatian spots. Okay. I mean, the lemmings can be kind of spotted. Like, if you look at pictures of lemmings, they can be kind of colorful.
All right, dual-wielding Dalmatian, but he's dual-wielding lemmings.
The patron who got that would be like, as it is, I feel bad for. I'm surprised that so many patrons have stayed at the postcard level because
I think
postcards have been unhinged.
Ribbon Quest and I have the same idea, but opposites at the same time. Raccoon dual-wielding Dalmatian puppies. A lemming with a Tommy gun. Darth Maul is a raccoon. River Song lemming.
River Song lemming. Maybe Darth Maul is a raccoon because they both have face paint kind of a vibe.
Yeah, a mask.
Like maybe I could make that work.
Instead of the...
Let me look at Darth Maul here. No, not Dark Maul, Darth Maul. I mean, that kind of works with like the mask because you just make it a little bit bigger around his eyes.
Mm-hmm. You might need some extra spice.
Yeah. Let me see if I can do it. I might not be able to do it. Let's see if I can pull this off.
She's making excuses already. We're going to spend the next 20 minutes with her failing to draw it, and then she's going to start over and have to pick somebody else. So all of you prepare your next suggestions.
Adam, catch me up on the chat. Marvel versus DC.
So far behind. All right. Firelight's interested in a competent person running the DCEU.
They keep hoping. I would like to see what they could do with it.
Ooh, all right. So John Young mentions Hawkeye, Black Widow, or Captain America, Black Widow. And the reality, I think I know your answer for this, is that those are both great friendship pairings, and you wouldn't want to ruin that.
No, I would not. I could go off on a whole tangent on how pissed off I am about what happened to Black Widow.
Yeah.
That was so stupid.
Who would I even pair Black Widow with? Could you see yourself pairing Black Widow with anyone?
No, not really. I would like. Apparently, her sister Yelena is asexual, which I'm so excited about. I hope she comes. We see more of her. But like, I could get ace vibes from Black Widow for sure. I didn't hate her with the Hulk. It just came out of nowhere. Like if it had been built up and felt like it came from somewhere, I could have gotten behind the ship.
Kind of like his whole being okay with being green. It's like we had a whole movie that we missed.
Yeah, it felt like it was like where it's like, yeah, I'm Professor Hulk now. And I'd be like, oh, okay, because last we saw you were struggling with your hulkiness, and now here you are, Professor Hulk. All right, cool.
Firelight mentions they messed up Cavill's Superman, and yeah, I think we all kind of agree.
Yeah. I'm not giving up on DC as movies. I will check out what they do.
Twilight also agrees that Cavill's Superman was messed up. Firelight happened to watch some Christopher Reeve Superman, and yes, absolutely, she says it was eye-opening. Although I have seen those movies before, but yeah, rewatching them as an adult is a different concept.
All right. Okay. Deep cut. Who here has seen the movie The Rocketeer? Because that one might be my favorite superhero movie. And it's not even technically a superhero movie. But it feels like a proto-Marvel movie.
Firelight has not seen it, but Ribbon Quest has seen the poster.
It's so good. It's one of my all-time favorite movies.
KJ also has never seen The Rocketeer. He'll solely be responsible for an uptick in Rocketeer watching.
I hope so. Everybody should see it. It's good. It's so good. If you want just the classic himbo hero, that is the main character of The Rocketeer. He is a himbo to the max.
Yes, he is. Oh, he's done horrible things. Ribbon Quest now needs a sci-fi bread wall.
There might be one, like, essentially.
A fanfic out there.
Well, a fanfic, or like, there's so many people out there writing anthropomorphic, like, stuff, and I just don't know about it because I've kind of gone away from that as I've gotten older. But there's people doing it still. All right, Darth Maul, I need to look at your...
John Young asks, who was your favorite Marvel superhero of all time?
Loki.
Does it count as a superhero?
Maybe. I do like Captain America, and I also like Iron Man because it's just classic.
Do you feel either of them have inspired any of your characters, or would inspire your characters in the future?
Maybe Loki.
Trying to think. Is there a character?
Don't mind me staring intensely at the screen, you guys. I'm not staring at you. I'm staring at my reference image of Darth Maul.
They're starting to diverge a little bit from Marvel to Disney, which Firelight likes Lion King and The Jungle Book.
I was never a Jungle Book girly, but I love The Lion King. It's still one of my favorite Disney movies of all time.
Candace C is a fan of the Adventure Mage playlist on Spotify.
Yay! Somebody listens to it. Somebody listens to it. Yay! It's not just me.
Aw, KJ thinks the line is stronger than they thought, which is how they came up with the caterpillar with a top hat on the hot air balloon.
I mean, it wasn't a bad idea.
Oh, I missed Firelight's suggestion. This is an excellent suggestion. Lady from the Musketeers as a Dalmatian.
Oh, my lady.
Milady.
My lady de Winter.
All right, cool. I'm catching up faster because a lot of these are the suggestions that I read before.
Kind of doing Darth
Do you
Maul.
think you would write a superhero novel ever?
I've started them, but they didn't keep me engaged. And also, superhero stuff is really hard to sell. Even in the indie scene, it's really hard to sell. So, like, I haven't pushed myself to go down those rabbit holes because, like, yeah.
So I suspect if you wrote more of from a sidekick perspective, Or if you wrote the superheroes, well, they're superheroes, but that's not at all what it is talking about. It's more like at their day job, and it always fades to black when they go to work.
What I was gonna do, the main one that I remember is there was gonna be different people have powers. Modern day, some people have powers. There's people supers or whatever, and she has powers, but she doesn't want to be that's not the career that she wants for herself. She has a certain type of powers that people expect her to be a certain type of superhero, and she's like, fuck no. And so she doesn't tell anybody she has powers because she wants to just stay the fuck out of it and just have the career that she wants. And then she becomes best friends with a different superhero, a more powerful superhero, a well-known superhero, and he kind of draws her in. But the main thing I wanted to have was the friendship as the focus, of course, because it's me. So her friendship with him kind of making her have to be a better person, have to be involved, because he is, and he'd be the typical Boy Scout, I have to save everyone kind of superhero.
So you've begun it, but it just hasn't taken off.
Yeah, I wrote a chapter of it, and then I got bored immediately.
Backing on the ship for Marvel, Firelight doesn't ship anything in Marvel outside of Tony Pepper.
I have a hard time shipping that just because of Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah.
She's... And how much they have to pay her, that crazy lady, just to come be Pepper Potts.
Which I'm all for, paying our female actresses well, but some of the things she shoves up her hoo-ha and tries to tell other people too.
Yeah, she's a cult. She's in a cult. She is a cult leader or something. I don't know, but no, thank you. So it's really hard for me to like Pepper Potts in the movies for that reason.
Okay. When we're talking about The Rocketeer, Twilight mentions Sky High as a great superhero movie.
I have seen it. And it certainly is a movie that exists.
Firelight mentions Unbreakable, which I think we both enjoyed.
Did see that one.
Do you like the character Black Widow? John Young asks if you'd ever consider writing a Black Widow fanfic, or I guess what story of Black Widow would you most like to see or be told?
One where she doesn't get killed off for the pathos. Everybody else gets to come back from the dead, but not her. I don't know. Black Widow, I like her character. I like watching her character, but also I don't really have much interest in writing her character.
She is the least super of all of the heroes.
I do like that about her, and I like her friendship with Hawkeye. That gives me some happy feels. And I definitely think, all right, I'm just going to go off on a tangent. I wasn't going to do it, but I am. When they get to that scene, where they have to sacrifice the one you love, I think they should have refused to they get in a fight trying to sacrifice. Each one is trying to sacrifice themselves for the other. And they have a whole fight that's just them each attempting to get to the edge of the cliff, and the other one's always stopping them. And that's the whole fight. And then in the end, they hold hands and they go down together, and that makes the whole magic of the thing go huh. And then they both get to live, and they both get the crystal, because that wasn't supposed to happen. To be so in willing to sacrifice yourself for the other person that you would rather both die than have to sacrifice one of you, is what I would have done with that scene.
So you might not write a whole Black Widow fan fiction,
but I would rewrite that scene.
Rewrite that scene.
Yes. Nobody agrees with me. I've never met anybody who's yes, that's better. But that's what I would have done.
I don't count that.
Oh, you think that's better?
You
really?
Even shared that idea.
Really? I haven't ranted at you about that.
And it breaking the magic. No.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Okay. Maybe Adam is the one who agrees with me, but most of the time I tell that to people, and they're like, "No, that's dumb."
Come back. We got a couple fan fiction. Twilight Guardian, the only fan fiction they're working on right now is a Digimon fanfic.
Ooh, Digimon! I fucking love Digimon.
So Twilight, you have to drop a link or send a message to
Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon are the champions.
I'm got more soundtracks from Julian. Twilight's attention is divided between their novel and that. I get nowhere fast with either of them. Oh, I'm sorry. But the fanfic has 20 chapters. So Digimon has 20 chapters.
Which like iteration of Digimon? Like which characters? This raccoon is Darth Maul is turning out pretty badass, I gotta say.
We do have a couple people agreeing that your scenario for Black Widow is better, and Twilight will send a link to their fanfic. It's currently being added onto. I got a couple questions that I skipped and I'm rotating back to. I don't even know if you've got an answer for this. Let me see. I think you have like 2. I don't know if you can do 5. You have a top 5 movies of all time?
Oh, yeah. Okay. A Knight's Tale, Dark Crystal, Rocketeer. That's 3 easy ones. If I go look at my movie shelf.
Think about Dark Crystal.
Are you thinking Labyrinth?
Well, no, but yeah, that would probably be up there. Dark Crystal, I was thinking, I've forgotten it.
Oh, shoot. What am I? Oh, Little Women. The one with Winona Ryder.
The one with Fezzik in it.
Oh, Princess Bride. Princess Bride. That's 5.
No,
I could do way more than 5.
Are those your top 5 though?
They're right now, yeah. I mean, consistently the most on my top 5 would definitely be those. There's others, but
So I don't know. So I kind of know the answer to it, but I don't know now if it will actually succeed. Which is, was there a movie so good that it became an inspiration for a future novel? And
there's a movie so bad.
Remember?
What is Adventure Made based on?
Oh.
Because I don't write stuff. If something is good, I leave it alone. If something frustrates me, I get inspired. That's why I have a lot of fix it and fill in fic in my fan fiction repertoire. Because I'll be like, that's stupid. I'm going to fix it. That's a terrible ending. I'm going to write a new ending, a better ending, with blackjack and hookers.
So I know that there have been, I don't know if there are others that inspired a book that got written. I know the Nutcracker Prince inspired an idea that for several years was always the next book you were going to write, never got past the next book point.
Yeah.
And then Perot, Jacques Perot?
Hercule Poirot, thank you.
Perot.
With the Murder on the Orient
Express was inspiring your steampunk
which
one.
is Agatha Christie.
But now that one might
yeah.
Did any others besides Adventure make it and were ones that inspired versus enraged?
Probably not.
I can't remember if this is a movie or a comic book. Twilight mentions Dreadnought was great. Still need to read the sequel. Worked with a superhero genre forever, and now I have all this skills, but I've moved on from the genre. Aww.
I do. Dreadnought is on my TBR. But my TBR is huge.
Yeah. Twilight agrees. Gwyneth Paltrow kind of ruined it.
Fucking Gwyneth. All right, here he is. Wait, let me get back over to the screen. Here he is, Darth Maul Raccoon. I went harder than I needed to on Darth Maul Raccoon. here he is. All right, we'll go back through all of the things that I've drawn, and then if we wanted to keep the conversation going, we can, or we can call it a night, and I can go back to playing Dragon Age Inquisition, which I've been playing through again. All right, so in no particular order because he's got all mixed up, we have a narwhal with an axe instead of a horn. He also is loosely based on Jack Torrance. Obviously, Darth Vader, raccoon. Darth Vader, no, Darth Maul. Darth Maul, raccoon.
Darth Maul, yes,
Darth Maul.
raccoon based on Darth Maul.
Hannibal Lecter as a sheep. My first one, which is just Pikachu with an apple, because I felt like drawing Pikachu. He's cute. A lemonade stand. Lemmings running a lemonade stand. I think this one might be my favorite one, honestly. A fox wearing a bear kind of hoodie. I haven't heard from Zaire in a while. I hope they stayed on long enough to see the result of their suggestion. Hamlet as a lemming. Alas, poor lemming. Just some tadpoles. Just because I felt like drawing tadpoles.
Inspired by our pond.
Inspired by our pond. Lemming dragon. And finally, a lemming Jedi who can fight the raccoon Darth Maul. So those are all of the postcards that patrons will be getting. Don't forget that you too could have a unhinged postcard that you don't understand sent to you.
Well,
every 3 months, if on a certain level on my Patreon.
You all attend the stream,
Yes.
so you would know.
You could have a hand
the inside joke of the unhinged postcard.
It's true. Yes.
You should be on when you fill these out. Should mention the stream and maybe timestamp for the inspiration for all of them.
I don't have a lot of room on the back of them to like put in a ton of detail. So I usually kind of mention that the stream happened and the chat suggested like this and what was the reason for it.
Stream, date, timestamp. It wouldn't need to be too much. I think it fit.
Maybe the date, so they could go back and like look and see what was the inspiration. But yes, become patrons at a certain level, and you too could have an unhinged postcard sent to you every 3 months because I have to be able to keep up with them.
Alright. So I need to step away myself, but if you have some of the chat to catch up on, if you wish.
Sure. I mean, I'll hang out. I got nothing else going on except for more Dragon Age.
Yes, chat. Keep her distracted so I can get my Phoenix Point game up on the
He
TV
can
first.
go play video games instead. Although, if it gets to 2 hours, I'll probably call it because we don't need to go that much. We don't need to go that long. But you guys are so talkative tonight. Look, a distraction. Which director are you less interested in? Quentin Tarantino or Zack Snyder? Zack Snyder. It's just not my guy. All right, let me see if I can catch up with the chat. Link to my fanfic. Okay, I remember that. Okay, Adventure 1 and 02 with TK and Karu as the main character. Okay, yep. I watched the dubbed version because I'm a poor, and we just had whatever was on, whatever bastardized version came on the TV. We didn't have cable or anything, so that's also how I tend to come up with most of my novels too, out of rage. Yeah. I have an idea for a rewrite of my childhood novel series that even as a kid I thought was bad, and it's been haunting me. If you ask me about it, I will go on a rant. That's fair. I have also, in the back of my mind, have a rewrite of my very first, the book that I consider my first novel, and I want to rewrite it someday, but I have not been inspired to do so yet. But it's there, in the back of my mind, taunting me. Lemming Hamlet is still your favorite. Yay! Have a rage book waiting, but I don't have enough material. So really, everyone's always got these inspiring stories of like, oh, it came to me in a dream. It just struck me one day, and I'm like, no, I'm fueled by rage. I don't hate Zack Snyder. I just don't care for his movies. His style's not for me. I don't hate him. I don't dislike him. Every artist has a style, and not fond of his. I'm sure there's lots of people who are not fond of my style, and that's perfectly reasonable for them. I have liked several Tarantino movies, so yeah. Compared to its contemporaries, I don't think Digimon's dub was bad. It mostly only censored things that Americans considered inappropriate, like children hitchhiking and alcohol references. That's fair. Only have a few stories that come to me. The rest are starting by me going, why did the story go that way? It should have gone a different way, and now I'm going to make it happen. 100%. Like, usually my stories happen because I'm asking questions. So there's some other book or something has sparked, and I go, what if? And that kind of sparks my story. Like Boots, I looked at the original story of Puss in Boots, and I was like, what if? And like, why? Also, why? So like, why is the miller's son like such a sad sack? Why does the princess not have any lines or a name? And just go from there. Let's see, a video series or a deep dive into Digimon. Only one part is art so far, though. I love Digimon. Actually, I got the new Digimon game for the Switch somewhere around here, but I have not started playing it yet. It's the one that's like a visual novel with a little bit of tactical thrown in, but I have not started it yet because instead I'm replaying Dragon Age Inquisition for the millionth time. Yep. Cyber Sleuth is good. I have played Cyber Sleuth, yes. I didn't finish it, but I have played it. I did enjoy it. There are not many video games that I finish, honestly. Because I'm an old. I get bored. Don't mind me checking my phone. Oh, apparently the Northern Lights may be out. Visible this week in my area, so that's cool. Oh, don't play many video games outside of The Sims. I play mostly like cozy games or games that I can do other things while I'm playing it. So like Dragon Age is great because it has moments where I can pay attention and be really into the story, and then there's a lot of busy work, and I like that element so I can be doing something else while that's going on. Next video I'm making focuses on the first anime. My first video is still about the anime because there are a lot of stuff before the anime came out. Not me 50 hours into yet another playthrough of Stardew Valley. Yeah, I have so many Stardew Valley files. Have you played My Time at Portia? That's another addicting one. There's another one out from that series, My Time at Sandrock, and I haven't played that one yet. I'm waiting for it to go on sale, which it might be now because it's the Steam summer sale, or it was. But yeah, that one's pretty fun too. It's got crafting, it's got Harvest Moon elements, and it has got fighting. So it's got all the things. Early version of Portia. Never circled back. Yeah, the final version's pretty solid, in my opinion. It's definitely addicting. Can get stuck playing that forever. Pick a movie you would rewrite the entire film? I don't know. The entire film? Would it even be the same thing then? I do have a sort of rewrite idea for Frozen, the first Frozen. I have a video about it if you want to go check it out on my channel. It's mostly about Hans and how I would have fixed that whole situation. Because, like, yeah, what was that? Adam is back. Good. Hey, Adam, entertain these people because I have to pee.
No, I need to look through the chat for information.
Well, actually, we're probably only about not that far from ending it anyway, so I can hold it.
Right.
Frozen 2 was fine. I don't like movies that are like, they do this a lot with kids' movies. The first movie will be all about how the two characters need to come together, their love for each other. It must become strong. And then in the second or third movie, it's a movie all about how the characters are too close. They need to get away from each other. Hurry up. Oh my gosh, you guys have you have this unhealthy relationship. And I'm like, but you just wanted them to be friends. So basically you're telling kids, go make friends, but like also leave your friends. Don't have friends. You're too attached to your friends.
I think it's the teenage romance. First, you must get super close, and then too close.
Too
You
close.
did it.
But it's in a lot of children's movies. It's in Frozen. So like the first one is Anna and Elsa must become close. Their relationship must become super strong. Their relationship is the most important thing. And then in the second movie, it's like, but actually they're too close and they need to separate from each other and go do their own thing. And it's like, well, what's the message? Because I thought it was a really beautiful sentiment when Elsa was yelling at Anna, like, you walked into the fire, you could have been killed. And Anna was like, if you don't want me to walk into fire, then you shouldn't walk into fire. Like, and I was like, oh, yes, that's friendship. Like, I will walk into fire for you no matter what. And instead, it's apparently supposed to be bad that she would walk into fire for her sister. It bothers me. But they did it in Toy Story where it's like, Woody and Buzz got to be together. Oh, no, separate them. They're too close. And Wreck-It Ralph, the whole first movie, Ralph and Vanellope's growing friendship. And then the second movie, no, they're too close. They're actually codependent. Their friendship has to die, and they have to like barely speak to each other now, and that's the healthy thing to do. And it's like, I really wish you movies would make up your damn minds. I want friendships that actually stay friendships, man. Wreck-It Ralph pissed me off with the friendship. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Third act breakup in kids' movies is known as the sequel. My least favorite sequel trope is the dead parents aren't dead shenanigans. I'm not as familiar with that one. I don't know if I've seen too many movies that use that one. My first rewrite would be the Unicorns of Balinor. Been wrapped up in the Ruby fandom, even though Ruby is terrible. And my rewrite fits better as a spin-off to Cadence, so now it's that instead. I don't know what any of that means because I don't watch Ruby, but yay, I think. Hey, Nigel. What's up, buddy? Nigel, why are you staring into the abyss? What's going on? He's doing that thing where he stares into the abyss. You know, when cats just stare at something? I'm like 900% sure that Nigel can see spirits and ghosts and stuff. You're supposed to be able, when a cat is staring, you're supposed to be able to look through their ears and see the spirit, but I'm not brave enough to do it. No, thank you. I'll just let him see that. Yes! The How to Train Your Dragon, too, where it's like Hiccup and Toothless have such a strong relationship. Nothing can break their bond. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, never mind, a girl dragon comes along and they have to separate. Yes, at the very end, they do come back together with their two little families. But, like, no. Why? Why can't they just, like, all be together all the way through instead of, like, Toothless, our beautiful friendship that we have forged is bad, actually. Go get some. Go have babies.
Babies are better than friends.
Yep. Hot girl dragons are better than friends. I rarely watch sequels because of the tropes. Yeah, that's fair. Pleasantly surprised that Puss in Boots 2 moved DreamWorks off that dead parents aren't dead trope. I didn't know DreamWorks was doing that. Maybe I don't watch enough DreamWorks movies. For a while, Disney had that thing going on with its direct-to-DVD sequels where it was like the previous villain has a relative who comes in to be exactly like them, but just looks different. Ursula's crazy sister, exactly. Or Scar. I love The Lion King too, but at the same time, Scar had a girlfriend this whole time who's coming to avenge him, and she was never mentioned. Although I kind of like to believe, because Scar is so obviously coded gay, that she wasn't actually like with him at all. She was just like kind of obsessed with him and just pretended that she was like with him. Although I also headcanon that Nuka is Scar's actual son and should be like the real king or whatever. Like, I like his character. I wish they did more with him. But yeah, the whole thing with Zira is weird. Hey, somebody likes that interpretation of Zira. There's Nigel. Hi, buddy. Hey, buddy. Oh, yep. Show everybody your tail, Nigel. It's very long, very nice tail, buddy. I'm like, Nige, please don't step on the keyboard, though. Okay, bud? You're looking forward to the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie? It looks interesting. I was never a Turtles fan. I was Power Rangers instead of Ninja Turtles. Yeah, Adam scoffs at me. I made him go see the Power Rangers movie, and he's like, I have no idea what's going on. And I'm like, yeah. So I'm interested to see it. It definitely looks like visually very cool, but I'm not like a fangirl, which makes me feel left out because so many of my friends were into Ninja Turtles as kids, and I was not. I think it's just like whatever channels that we got didn't have Ninja Turtles. We got like 3 channels growing up, and they didn't have Ninja Turtles reruns, and so I just never got into Ninja Turtles. I love the fandom headcanon that the reason why Zira was outcast was because she murdered Simba's first child, and partially why Simba is so protective of Kiara. I could see it. Such a pop culture dummy. I haven't seen most of these movies. It's okay. You probably are out there doing better things with your life. Would you write a Power Rangers inspired story? I've never thought about doing one of those. Maybe. It does have elements that I like. Teamwork, friendship, color coordination. Toy stores never had April, so I shunned Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's fair. Why do I kiss the cat when I have chapstick on? It should be the tagline: teamwork, friendship, and color coordination. Oh my goodness, Nigel, why are you stepping on that part of my body? You hamming it up, Nigel? Are you hamming it up for the people? They don't get to see your face, just your ears. If you looked up, Nigel, people could see your beautiful face. No, I refuse. You kiss the cat because it's illegal not to do so. He's one of those cats who believes in reciprocal grooming. So if I pet him, then he must pet me. So if I pet him long enough, he usually gives me some licks. Do you ever write a female-led story? 90% of my stories are female-led. I just lean towards it more. Nigel, don't step on the postcards, please, buddy. The screen is shaking because Nigel is now rubbing up against the side of the computer. Everybody needs black cats. They're important to counteract the orange cats of the world. The black cats are hoarding all the brain cells. Nigel is jealous of the attention Giorgio got last time. I'm assuming the GG is referring to Giorgio. Ow, Nigel, my ears are pointy. Does Nigel help you with your read-alongs or edits? He helps me with the read-alongs. He doesn't, when I'm editing, he doesn't really bother me too much, but he's always got it. He likes to be on camera, so he wants to help with the read-alongs. Oh, okay, bye, I guess. Now he's just done. He's just left. Bye. But he's a ham. He likes to be on camera. But the ferrets do come around a lot when I'm doing my edits. So, if you want to have your book developmentally edited by a ferret, I can hook you up. I have written from the male perspective. I have had him main characters before. I just don't do it as often.
You don't publish them as much.
I don't.
Diary of a
Diary of a Demon.
Fire, some of Adam's favorites.
Yeah, a lot of the main character of Second Floor is a guy, and I plan on publishing that. So that's one. But the ones I tend to publish are the ones that are led by my female characters, and I tend to write more with female characters as the lead. Yes, I can't spell Jojo's name. That's fair. And I don't know. I write all my characters as just people, and I don't believe that only women can write women and only men can write men. My men tend to be on the softer side and not hyper masculine. Make of that what you will. But my women tend to be on the badass side and can hurt you. So also make of that what you will. I need to have a chat with you about some character relationships sometime. There's a character I think is great, but I worry might be seen as a bad stereotype. Yeah, I will chat about that any old time. And if you want to do a video chat, I have coaching sessions for that. But otherwise, you can just talk at me on any of my social media, and I'll probably talk back. Is Valentine a perspective in Adventure Mage 2? Nobody is in Adventure Mage 3. Because in Adventure Mage 3, they get separated from each other, and then it makes sense to have 2 points of view. But I don't personally see the sense in having the 2 lead characters who are together all the time have 2 points of view in the main stories. But in 3, yes, he does get a point of view. Oddly, my heart series has 5 male characters as the main cast. I mean, the characters show up and they are what they are. If female characters show up and want to be the main character, make them the main character. But I love my male characters. I love my boys. I just don't write from their perspective as often. I also write soft men. Yes, soft men for the win. Valentine is a sweet soft boy. Do you let your friends read your stories, novels to help you make them better for you? Yes, I shove them in my friends' faces. A lot of my friends don't read my stuff. Not because they think it's bad, it's just because they don't want to. And that's fine. I can't make them. And you have one friend who pretty consistently beta reads for me. Adam alpha reads for me. My mom often alpha reads for me. They're like 2 sides of the spectrum. My mom will tell me all the things she loves, and Adam will tell me all the things that are wrong with it. So it's a nice balance. But yeah, as many friends and family will read as possible. But otherwise, my beta readers tend to be internet friends or random people that I find on the internet. But yes, it's so important to get your book out for other people to see and critique before you publish it. I would never consider publishing a book without it having been beta read, because you're too close to it. I'm too close to it. You're too close to it. You're too close to your story to tell what's wrong with it. And you need to give it to other people. People will ask, hey, Julian, you're a developmental editor. Why do you still give your story to other people? And it's I need to, because I'm too close to it. I can't see what it needs. Yeah, we'll be having beta readers pretty soon. I say pretty soon. I'll be putting out the call for betas on the channel. So if you want a beta for me, keep an eye on the channel, because that's where I get majority of my beta readers. I need to buy your books so I can understand what's being talked about. I mean, I'm not going to disagree. If you want to buy more affordably, I try to keep the Kindle version pretty affordable so that more people can read it if they want to. And if you want to read my work for free, I have a Wattpad. You can go over there and check out stuff that is not published or published yet. Yes, Adam?
You all need to buy more of her books, so then publishers will pick her up and demand more of her works, and she'll have no choice but to bring out some of her old ones and be like, well, I don't have anything else ready, so you have to publish Diary of a Demon
and Child
of Fire. So that my favorites of her books can finally be published.
Child of Fire would need so much of a rework at this point.
We can get a shadow author to rewrite.
I need one of those. I need somebody. I need what Brandon Sanderson has. Brando Sando, he's got it down. He writes a draft and then he hands it over to his editors who edit it for him in his style because they have like figured out how to do that, and he pays them to do that. That's what I want, but I am not rich. I have all of your books now. Yay! Even Phoenix? I thought you did a great job with the Briard's POV. They're like the characters that you would see as the MCs in other fantasy. I could see that, yeah. I'm always concerned that my book isn't well written. I'm waiting for people to give me a really harsh review or they eviscerate my prose for some reason. It doesn't happen. I mean, if your story's good enough, people will forgive a lot. So, like, if your story is enjoyable, wow, the Jorb Home Store. If your story is enjoyable, people will forgive more flawed prose. But if you ever want somebody to eviscerate your story, it's a service that I offer. You do have to pay me. But yeah, I have clients who are like, hey, yeah, everybody's being really too nice to me, and I want somebody to actually tell me what's wrong with this book. And I'm like, yes, fam, you came to the right place. I got you. Yeah, you read Phoenix and you like it. Yay. I don't have Phoenix. I'll have to get that. Phoenix is my debut technically, so it's a little bit rougher than my more recent books. So know that going in. I wrote it many years before I published like The Wolf and the Hawk. I restarted my publishing career with The Wolf and the Hawk a long time after I published Phoenix. So it's fine. It's enjoyable. It's not amazing. All right, we have gone 2 hours, so I think I probably will end the stream because I don't like to go that long. 2 hours is a long time. Although I would talk forever if you let me. I give you the first 5K. What's my weakest story? Oh, yeah. I'm still working on editing the next bit. Might send you a big chunk, but I only have a chunk written. I know your story. Any chance of a Phoenix Companion novel? I want to. It was going to be called Unicorn, and it was going to be about the zombie virus, like, is not cured, but like some people can get over it and recover. And then so it's characters having to deal with the fact that they have killed their friends and family when there was a chance that their friends and family might have recovered from the zombie virus. But I have not written it. You're really selling Phoenix to me there. I don't like to overblow the expectations. It's a coming of age story with zombies. And people like it. People enjoy it. I have not heard bad things about it. I haven't heard it badly reviewed. I just am like, I'm a better writer than I was when I wrote Phoenix.
I came here to say goodbye.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, Adam. Hey, Adam, if you actually want free audiobook versions of my stuff, no obligation at all, I wouldn't want to impose, where should I send those links? KJ, I think I'm friends with you on Twitter, right? Because, like, you can send me a Twitter message or Adam can send you.
If it's Audible, we share the same Audible account. So, yes, getting a Twitter message to Julian would add him to our Audible, and then I could listen to him on our Audible.
If you can, get a message to me, and then I will send you, like, either his email address or whatever you need for that. Obviously, I just don't want to do it in a stream.
Everybody, free promo code. Go.
Or everybody hears Adam's email address.
I mean, I've got a burner email address that the whole world knows anyway.
Okay.
And has been hacked and all that jazz.
All right, kids. We are going to say goodbye. A couple people have already left. But thank you for joining me. And thank you for being so talkative and with all of your suggestions. That was awesome sauce. But yes. Have yourselves a lovely evening, everyone, and I will see you around the channel. Ready for the goodbye, Adam?
Always ready.
3, 2, 1. Bye.
Bye.
He lives for the goodbye.